Have you ever just, stopped and wondered what's really out there beyond what we see and touch every day? Or maybe, have you had that feeling that maybe past lives somehow shape who you are now?
It's a fascinating thought, isn't it?
Totally. And today we're diving deep into something really transformative, I think.
Welcome, everyone. We've been spending our time with a really foundational text published way back in 1857, but still incredibly relevant, the Spirits book.
Yeah, and it's not just some dusty old volume. It's like the cornerstone of Spiritism, compiled from thousands of spirit communications, supposedly, from mediums all over the world.
That's right, a huge collection of these messages.
So our mission here in this deep dive is to try and unpack some really complex spiritual ideas for you.
We're talking big concepts, the nature of God, why we're even here, reincarnation, the afterlife, but all seen through the lens of this specific book.
Exactly. It's quite a structured journey, actually, into things maybe usually considered beyond. We're hoping it gives you a kind of shortcut to getting well-informed on some ideas that definitely challenge common assumptions.
So where does it all start? With a figure you might not expect, Allan Kardec.
Right. Not your typical mystic. The book itself really stresses his background. He was a scholar, very logical, described as incredulous by nature and by education.
And equally free from mysticism and enthusiasm. That's key, isn't it?
It really is. It sets up this idea that the whole doctrine wasn't just dreamed up. It supposedly came from careful observation.
He approached it with a critical eye. Definitely not as a believer looking for confirmation.
So how does this very rational guy get involved in, well, spirit communication? It apparently started with things like table turning.
Ah, yes, the dance of the tables. It started in America, then just swept across Europe. The book says the multiplicity of the experiences soon left no doubt as to its reality.
So it wasn't just a fad, it was widespread.
And it evolved. First, just simple raps for yes or no. Then, the table started tapping out letters, forming words, sentences.
And this is where it gets really interesting. When they asked these mysterious beings what they were,
they said they were spirits. And the book emphasizes that no one individual had ever even thought of spirits to explain it. The phenomenon itself introduced the term.
That's a crucial point. The idea didn't come from humans, it supposedly came from the spirits, and the communication methods kept developing.
They did, from tables to automatic writing, using baskets or planchettes, those little pointers, then direct handwriting by the medium, even speech, hearing, sight, touch.
Wow. Quite the range.
And the core argument for authenticity was that it was beyond the medium's control.
How so?
Well, think about it. Multiple people touching a basket, supposedly guided by a spirit, and maybe even more convincing, the writing style, even the handwriting, would completely change depending on which spirit was supposedly communicating.
That really suggests it wasn't just the medium's own thoughts bubbling up.
Right, so the claim is bold. The doctrine of the spirits is not a human concept at all. It was revealed by the manifesting intelligences themselves.
When no one had even imagined it. And the part that always gets me is this strange coincidence they mention.
Oh, yes. Thousands of mediums all over the globe apparently saying the same things, agreeing on the core principles.
That consistency is pretty compelling, you have to admit.
Of course, people were skeptical. Still are. Accusations of charlatanism, illusion.
Sure, standard objections.
But the book pushes back. It points out mediums often weren't getting paid, unlike typical charlatans. It highlights the global consistency again, and the fact that many involved were, quote, serious, respectable, and educated persons.
It even compares the skepticism to how people initially reacted to things like, what, Franklin's lightning rod? Or Fulton's steamboat?
Exactly, suggesting that maybe disbelief sometimes just comes from not looking closely enough at the facts or dismissing them too quickly.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Let's get into the actual structure of reality according to these communications. Top of the pyramid, God.
Defined as the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things, and very specific descriptions. Infinite in divine perfection, supremely just and good.
And importantly, distinct from the universe itself, right? Not pantheism where God is everything.
Correct. God isn't seen as a material being. The preface warns against personifying God in a human way. It's above an ultimate intelligent principle.
Okay, so if God's the first cause, what makes up the universe?
Three basic elements: God, spirit, and matter.
And there's that intermediary thing, the universal fluid.
Yes, it plays a crucial role, bridging spirit and matter. It's what allows them to interact.
Sort of like the operating system between consciousness and the physical world.
That's a great analogy. It enables influence, interaction, maybe even makes phenomena like table turning possible, or how our thoughts affect our bodies. It connects the intelligent and the material.
Makes sense. So within this, what exactly is a spirit?
They're defined as the intelligent beings of creation. They populate the universe beyond the material world.
Not just wisps of smoke, though.
No, not abstract at all. They're described as individualizations of the intelligent principle, even quintessentialized matter, real distinct beings that can sometimes even be perceived by our senses.
Okay. And how do humans fit in? We're a mix.
Precisely. The soul is an incarnate spirit. The body is only its envelope.
The spirit is the driver. The body is the car.
And the perispirit, that semi-material envelope, is the interface. It links the non-physical soul to the physical body, allowing control and experience. Our essence is spirit. The body is just temporary.
Got it. So these spirits aren't all the same. There's a hierarchy.
A whole ladder, yes. Different orders of spirits. At the bottom, you have the third order, the imperfect spirits.
What defines them?
Predominance of matter over spirit. They're prone to ignorance, pride, selfishness, basically all the negative passions.
And they suffer for it.
Deeply. They apparently retain the memory of suffering from their physical lives and are tormented by envy and jealousy, seeing happiness they can't reach. This group includes everything from neutral spirits to the ones causing disturbances, the boisterous ones.
And crucially, their suffering comes from within, right?
Yeah.
Not some external punishment.
Exactly. It's a consequence of their own state. Then, moving up, you get the second order, the good spirits.
What are they like?
They understand God, they experience happiness, and they actively try to help others. They encourage good thoughts and dissuade from evil. They even watch over people who are worthy.
Protectors, guides.
Kind of, yes. And then at the very peak, the first order, the pure spirits.
The enlightened ones.
Pretty much. Absolute intellectual and moral superiority. They've shed all material impurities, no more trials needed. They exist eternally close to God.
But it's not fixed, right? You can move up this ladder.
That's the core message. All spirits are created simple and ignorant. The whole point is to improve themselves, climbing through these degrees. Through incarnation. Coming into physical life. For some, it's an expiation, a way to pay off past mistakes. For others, it's a mission to help.
And the book stresses, God does not create any spirits evil. They become what they become through their choices.
Exactly. It's all about progression. Every single spirit is on that upward journey, eventually.
That really is a hopeful view. A universe built for growth. Which brings us neatly to reincarnation.
Yes. The book argues that having many successive lives, reincarnation, is the only concept truly compatible with God's justice, especially for those starting lower down morally.
It gives everyone a chance, or multiple chances, to learn and grow.
It offers consoling hope, doesn't it? And a way to atone for our errors through new trials. It reframes life's difficulties.
And get this, the book says spirits actually choose their trials before they incarnate.
That's one of the most mind-bending parts for me. They don't pick the easy life.
No, they pick the trials that will help them progress faster. The analogy used is striking. A patient often chooses the nastiest medicine in order to be healed more quickly.
It implies incredible foresight and agency on the part of the spirit. Suffering becomes a chosen lesson, not random chance.
So why don't we remember these past lives then? If we chose all this.
The veil of forgetfulness. The book explains that when spirits return to the spirit world, their past life reviews itself. They see their mistakes.
Like a life review.
Exactly. And then they desire a new life to redeem the last one, but during the physical life, that direct memory is veiled. However,
Yes.
the voice of conscience is described as a kind of memory of the past, a subconscious nudge away from repeating old mistakes.
So the lessons are there, just deeper down. We're not meant to be bogged down by specifics.
Seems that way. And this connects to the idea of the invisible world constantly interacting with us.
Right. The book says spirits are literally all around us. You are constantly surrounded by them. And they can know our most secret thoughts.
It's quite a thought. Constant company.
And they influence us.
Yes, both ways. Good spirits counsel you. They can suggest favorable thoughts. The book links this to genius and inspiration.
Like a muse.
Perhaps. But then imperfect spirits can induce us to evil, often out of envy. It's a subtle battle for influence over our thoughts.
But there's help, right? The guardian angel idea.
Yes, a very comforting concept. Protector, familiar, and sympathetic spirits. They're more evolved than us, always there to counsel, sustain, and aid.
And the message quoted from St. Louis and St. Augustine is lovely. Don't fear tiring us. Remain in contact with us always. You will thus be stronger and happier.
It makes that connection feel very personal and accessible, not some distant angel, but a constant companion.
What about negative influence, like possession?
The book clarifies this. It says true possession, like two spirits sharing one body, doesn't happen, but subjugation or obsession can.
Meaning one spirit dominates another?
Yes, but, and this is important, it never occurs without the participation of the one who suffers it, either through weakness or desire.
So it requires some level of vulnerability or allowing it on the part of the person affected, not just a hostile takeover.
That's the distinction they make. It all leads towards a moral framework, doesn't it? Based on natural law.
The law of God, they call it. Eternal and immutable. The only law really needed for happiness.
And the core of good versus evil. It hinges on intent. Evil especially depends on the willingness one has for doing it. Good is always good, and evil is always evil. Your intention matters immensely.
And the highest expression of this law is
Justice, love, and charity. With charity, defined in that broad sense Jesus used, benevolence toward everyone, indulgence toward the imperfections of others, and forgiveness for offenses.
That's presented as the absolute bedrock, the divine law governing everything.
A universal moral compass.
Okay, let's shift focus slightly to the afterlife itself. What happens when we die, according to this?
It's not like flipping a switch. The spirit's departure is gradual, may vary in speed, especially if someone was very attached to material life.
So not instant oblivion or heaven, but a transition period.
Yes, often involving a state of confusion for some time as the spirit detaches.
And perception changes dramatically.
Completely. Sights, sounds, sensations, they're all perceived directly by the spirit, not through physical organs. Perception becomes an inherent attribute of the spirit itself.
Their sight penetrates what yours cannot.
Exactly. Nothing obscures it. They can perceive things our limited senses miss entirely. It's a liberation of awareness.
Which leads to that radical rethinking of heaven, hell, purgatory.
Right. Forget specific locations. The book is adamant. Punishments and joys are inherent to the degree of a spirit's perfection.
So it's internal.
Entirely. Each spirit carries within itself the source of its own happiness or unhappiness. Since spirits are everywhere, these states aren't confined to one place.
I found this quote powerful. We carry our hell and our heaven within ourselves.
And that we find our purgatory in our incarnation, in our corporeal or physical lives. That's a key takeaway. Purgatory is the learning process here.
And these post-death feelings are intensified.
1,000 times more vivid, because the spirit is more sensitive. Pure spirits find joy in helping others progress.
While the lower spirit,
They suffer intensely from their own limitations, wanting what they can't have, seeing happiness they can't reach, consumed by regret, jealousy, despair, again, internal states.
and this suffering isn't eternal, right? That's another huge claim.
Absolutely. Punishments imposed are never eternal. The logic is tied to God's goodness. How could infinite punishment be just for finite errors?
Makes sense from that perspective. They quote Lemoness, suggesting eternal suffering was misunderstood.
Yes, that it relates more to the persistence of the evil tendency, not some irreversible, endless sentence. Suffering lasts as long as the cause does.
It's a very different view of justice. And they even reinterpret existing religious ideas, like the resurrection.
They do. The resurrection of the flesh is presented as an allegory for reincarnation.
Wow. So they see Spiritism as revealing the deeper symbolic meaning within Christianity.
That's the argument, that it confirms and sanctions Christianity by revealing its allegorical truths.
And connecting back to Earth the idea of imperfect spirits being sent to less advanced worlds.
They frame that as a sublime image of paradise lost.
And our own inherent imperfections, the seeds of passions we bring into life.
That's seen as the no less sublime image of original sin. Reinterpreting these core narratives through the Spiritist framework of progression and reincarnation.
It's been quite a journey through this book, from Kardec's initial skepticism to this whole complex cosmology.
It really has. A comprehensive system trying to explain the big questions.
And its power seems to lie in trying to make it all logical, almost natural. Grounding everything in God, the soul's journey, and consequences, rewards, and punishments flowing naturally from our actions in life.
It aims for a rational spirituality, you could say.
So, thinking about all this, here's a final thought for you listening. If all human knowledge, science, philosophy, everything, were to eventually align with these kinds of insights from the spirit world, what cherished earthly belief, what idea we hold on to tightly now, do you think would be the hardest for humanity collectively to let go of?
That's a deep one to ponder. Something to really think about.